Morning, everybody. This is John Blank, PhD, Zacks Chief Equity Strategist and Economist. And today is April the 8th, 2024. I am going to go through Zacks top picks in 2024 within our medical sector. So it's our medical sector. And we have three parts of it: drugs, medical care, and medical products. Now, in this series, as we've gone through, I've done three parts, and it's a clean breakdown and I want everybody to get used to it and apply it correctly. So part one will be the top picks by market capitalization. Yes, these are the big ones, big by market capitalization. Number two, top picks by number of analysts covering the stock. Typically, this will be large cap stocks, but not necessarily the same ones, particularly in this industry. And this is very critical here today because if Wall Street is not putting analysts covering a stock, there's not a lot of institutional interest in that stock. Keep that in mind. The market capitalization is what's being traded and what's big, what the market values, and what Wall Street cares about. Little different, and I like both. Number three, largest percent change in the current fiscal year earnings estimate. This is the core piece of the Zacks Rank, the short-term Zacks Rank, and it's just going to pick up an entirely different set of companies. In this industry, you will see that most of them are negative return on equity companies. This is problematic for this sector because getting a lower negative return on equity will be picked up, and that might be a correct read. And I'll show you one particular stock that I think is probably picking a correct read up, but there's a lot of noise, and you really do need to be a research scientist to know whether a new company or a small company really has a great product. It's very risky to play around with the Zacks Rank in this particular space without more information. Keep that in mind. Okay, well, let's get going. Number one, I think there is a role for the U.S. government, and particularly in the pharma industry, in the drug industry. This is a very big stock group in this group, and the Food and Drug Administration plays a very big role. So first off, they ensure the safety and efficacy of a wide range of products, including food, drugs, prescription and over-the-counter, medical devices, cosmetics, and even tobacco products. Strict guidelines and measures to conduct testing to ensure these products are safe and effective for their intended use. Effective, right? Protecting the food supply from farm to fork, right, all the way. They oversee the safety of the food supply. Monitoring presence of contaminants, ensuring proper labeling, appropriate quantities of food additives and their quality, all that plays a role. Advancing public health initiatives. They advance initiatives. They don't just react to threats. However, they also combat public health threats. So advancing health initiatives and combating public health threats. This is their mission, and it's a critical one. Now over here, as I said, big and powerful pharmaceutical industry players are what the FDA really focuses on, and you hear a lot about. They formulate and apply a multi-pronged approach to regulate them. First of all, pre-market approval, PMA, rigorous testing, new drug applications, that's an NDA, and facility inspections. All this pre-market. Post-market, marketing requirements and monitoring. Adverse events, of course, if there's something that happened to the drug and they find out in the market from it, that adverse event, they will definitely get on it. Post-marketing studies to make sure that the drug enters the market, and they gather further data on long-term effects and effectiveness after it's out there. Labeling and marketing regulations. As you can see, this is kind of consistent over here. And then drug recalls and safety alerts if they need to do it. Keep this in mind. Food and Drug Administration is going to play a big role here. This is not an unregulated industry by any stretch of the imagination, and it shouldn't be. It needs to be regulated, and the regulators do a great job here. Okay. The food and drug industry, what is the role in drug development and drug delivery? So drug development, I have all the guidelines here. Drug delivery, I have all the guidelines here, and the FDA and all of its branches here. Just for example, really interesting to know its various branches. Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, Center for Biologic Evaluation and Research, Center for Devices and Radiologic Health, Center for Food Safety and Application Nutrition, Center for Veterinary Medicine, National Center for Toxicological Research, Office of Regulatory Affairs, and Office of Food and Dietary Supplements. All of this you probably do not hear a lot about. FDA, you certainly do. So, again, let's learn the government and understand its language and its groups in order to better understand how they work. And this will be critical for improving our understanding of how they can play out in terms of these stocks. Okay, so these are the top medical stocks by market capitalization, like I said here, by number of analysts, that's where we're going to be down here, and by the largest change in forward estimates, that's over here. So, of course, the big player right now in the drug space, not overall, actually, it looks like it is. It's a $740 billion company now. Lilly and Novo Nordisk. So Lilly and Novo Nordisk, we know why they're both $737 billion and $569 billion market caps because of the obesity drugs. They are now they've led the way in the last 2-3 years to the top of the drug list. Johnson & Johnson used to be there. They're now, third in the space. Merck, AbbVie, and United Health are also big players. But notice these groups, this is a big, these are 300 billion, 328, 371, 570, 69, big ones. Then medical care, of course, the top stock is United Health. Probably heard of that. We're going to see a lot about HCA Holdings here. And Cigna Group is also getting a stock that we'll talk about. You may not know this one, Elevance Health, different name. And you may not know this one, Cencora Incorporated. So again, here we picked up two names you probably don't know a lot about. Come back to this for its ticker and its name and its market cap and its industry all the time. Like I said over here, got three industries: drugs, medical care, and medical products. Okay, down here, Thermo Fisher, Abbott Labs, Intuitive Surgical, the Da Vinci robot, Stryker, which you may not know that name, and Medtronic, which you probably do. All right, so by the number of analysts following these stocks, this is where it gets interesting. Look at all the different names here. And of course, some of these names, like Teladoc, this is a big Kathy Wood stock. Here you get Cigna finally getting picked up here and here. That's a critical thing when you see something being picked up here and here. That's worth noting. Medtronic is another one that's both here and here. United Health is both here and here. So we're seeing HCA Holdings both here and here. So again, what we like to see is something either here or both. That would be very helpful from just a safety and security perspective on picking a stock. Over here, these that get into the very interesting names that you probably do not know. Market cap does matter. Some of these are super small, like Soletigenix is 5 million in market cap. I mean, Biomix, 16 million. Some of these are really, really, really small. However, I will point out today, Good RX Holdings is the one I'll point out. It's a $2.6 billion stock in Santa Monica, California, and it's got an upward revision lately that looks good. So we're going to focus a little bit on Good RX because I think it's got a story here. So in general, I would be, without a medical doctor's stated opinion, which you're not going to get unless you're a Wall Street covered firm, you might want to just stick with the bigger stocks: Good RX, Estrana, and Progeny. Okay, let's keep going. Off to the picks with medical sector market capitalization. All right, first off, we've got the top 15 stocks by market capitalization. This is our revenue line. This is our earnings, of course. This is critical. This is free cash flow in this business because of the research and things is very critical. So what do we learn here? To no surprise, United Health is a big player. No surprise there. Elevance, by the way, is from a earnings per share perspective doing quite well. So put Elevance on your radar. As again I said, Lilly and Novo Nordisk, you can see they are the ones that are turning up in EPS over the last 2 years. That is what we're talking about in terms of that obesity drug. Just keep in mind that is the story here. But again, look at Elevance. Probably want to learn about it. United Health, choppy, but definitely building the free cash flow. AbbVie as well. These are big free cash flow hogs. As you can see, Lilly actually is not. Keep that in mind. Over here, more stuff to learn about. Smaller names. These are the top 15 stocks, both from drugs, medical care, and medical products. So again, that goes all the way back. to our first slide here, right? Keep that in mind. All right, so let's keep going. This is a critical slide right here, and definitely refer to it and learn about it. This one is not so critical because what we have here, depreciation, amortization, total debt, and the reinvestment rate. So what do we learn from this? A lot of it's just how their businesses are being operated. For example, AbbVie had a big depreciation amortization write-off here in 2020 for the drug issue for them, but that's a long time ago. Down here, you can see reinvestment rate really fell off for Lilly. That's because of the drug they were developing. So again, this is without knowing the internal stories. This is a very noisy chart. Probably not worth our time. All right, return on equity. Yes, very critical. Up here, number one will matter. Earnings per is very interesting in this environment where it's whether it's coming straight from the fundamental earnings or from the balance sheet earnings. That's critical. As you can see, Johnson Johnson down at 40% versus Novo Nordisk at 100%. United Health 95. Elevance again right in there. But Johnson Johnson, this is a company earning cash flow off of its balance sheet. Just made a ton of money over the years, and that's really a dividend pick for a lot of people. Right here is what I like: the return on equity. As you can see, return on equity, Novo and Lilly is just off the charts. Again, Elevance is in there. Keep that in mind. And over here, you got Intuitive Surgical, which you definitely do know, and you can see it's been kind of going down, holding up there in the 13% ROEs. But not as, it's the name that played out a big time probably 20 years ago, not so much now. Stock can still go up, by the way. I'm making a comment on the stock. All right, so CapEx, again, HCA really killing it on putting time and building out their business. But like I would say to you, this is the line. These are the numbers that I would care about in this area. All right, R&D as percent of sales, total debt, and the reinvestment rate. R&D as percent of sales is really interesting. Who's building and spending on the business? Merck jumps out at you. Lilly jumps out at you. Keep in mind that you've got two names here, definitely looking well. And interestingly enough, Intuitive Surgical is really putting the money back in their business. You like to see this. This is strong information to pick up. People who believe in their business will invest back in it, keeping it strong, healthy, and competitive. So that is a great measure. Again, this is the one I would care about. Well, let's go on to the next punch. Number of analysts covering a stock. All right, so here we've got these areas of price movement recently. So again, if someone's buying these stocks, you're going to want to see positive price movement. And as you can see, a lot of times there is not positive price movement in this. These are the ones that are actually worth something. Keep in mind, here is where you've got some information. Those are the names I would look at here. People are buying these stocks lately. They're definitely not buying them over here. But look, it's a noisy chart. I would really focus only on just trying to select out these names and looking into them. HCA's in there. The other ones you probably don't know, and you should follow up later. But come back to this. Like I said, always with this is about the slides, getting them from us, and then following up later. All right. Again, number analysis is the 3-month percent change in the forward estimate standard deviation. The only thing I want to point out here, things like BIB, Biogen. Big estimate revisions because people are worried about their Alzheimer's drug, a lot of motion. Amgen actually coming in the right direction. This is the difference here. This is a noisy chart, but when you look at BIB here and here, standard deviation, of course, and 3-month percent change, these are showing you the same story, but you really get a lot of motion out of some of these stocks. So then you got a trading vehicle for BIB versus Amgen, which you basically don't. You have much more stable performance, a long-term hold kind of thing. Again, 3-month change standard deviation over here. And again, you're seeing it's a lot less volatility than it used to. There was a huge amount of volatility, of course, back in COVID, but that's no longer relevant at this point in time. Okay, price EPS surprise charts for the top 4 right here, top 4 stocks in drugs, and then top 2 stocks in medical care. So Analam, Amgen, ARGX and BIB. We talked about BIB. Here's those big movements in trading from the estimate revisions. Tough to rate us. This is a trading stock, and it's back down to its lows, but it stays there for a while. Wouldn't bother with that one. NLM looks pretty good. Amgen looks pretty good, actually undervalued. And ARGX looks pretty good and perhaps undervalued. So 1, 2, 3, we've got 3 names for you that may well both have the right estimate story and the right pricing scenario where you can make some money. So there you go. You got 3 of them. AVTR and this is Cigna. This is down in medical care. Cigna was a great trade for a few months. Now it's fully valued, but look at this estimate revision. Cigna's been running a great business for the last few years. This is phenomenal. Look at annual growth in earnings. Impressive. Okay, over here you've got medical care and medical products. Okay, medical care, HCA, doing great, but also fully valued. And here you've got Teladoc, which was the Kathy Wood name that she blew it up, but now it's way, way down. But interestingly enough, the earnings are starting to improve. But again, I would point out this is just from less negative. So I'm not a big fan of the stock. I don't like buying stocks that are multiple years negative earnings. Yeah, they're improving, but the market doesn't care. So what I buy here, none of these names, if they're all fully valued, this one might be most interest to me, Edwards Life Sciences. This is probably good. Intuitive Surgical, look at that chart. Great chart. Fully valued. Fully valued. So again, probably here or here is where I would find some value in this particular space. All right, so we're going to go back into the last branch, which is the Zacks ranking. Now, this is going to be kind of noisy here this time around for this particular industry. So once again, R&D to sales. You'd like to see a big number here and a big improvement. So SNGX is a number and name you're going to want to look into. SNGX. These other things I would just not bother with. This information is good information. So you want to see this being positive and strong in this particular space. So there you got some names to look into. Here, DuPont charts for top 3 stocks and 4 stocks in drugs and medical care. Again, what we want here, operating margin and return on equity. And like I said, in every case, most cases, I should say, there's negative ROEs. Here's STH, which is both positive and got an ROE. I like that one. And I like PGNY. I like this one. So there's 2 in the medical business, STH and PGNY, that I would look into, 1 and 2. All right. Top 5 stocks by largest in medical products. Again, negative, 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 and negative. So I am not going to, without medical research and a medical background, I am going to struggle to help you out with a pick in this space. All right. Top 15 stocks by largest percent change. Here is GoodRx in the enterprise or the CapEx spending going up, and also cash flow to net income going up. And here is their chart over here. I put it up here. You can see they got $50 a share during COVID. Now they're down. So look at those estimations are coming up on positive earnings. So GoodRx is probably a play here. GDRX. So I put it up here. Look at all those positive revisions. Now getting it up to 50 cents from 35 cents and coming back from where they used to be. This is what you're looking for in this type of space. So I found one for you, GDRX. All right. Relative ratio charts. I thought this might be interesting. This is pre-tax income. This is times interest earns. This is earning retention, and this is the asset turnover ratio. Basic point here is I couldn't learn a lot other than the COVID period is over for a lot of these industries, and they're changing their story. I thought you might learn something here, but again, it's relative ratio to drugs, relative medical products. That's the 3 industries. Those are the 3 relative ratios, and they all kind of head in the same direction. So what did we learn here? Not a lot. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for attending. And if you want these slides, give us a call at 866 794-6065. Send us an email at strategycall@zackspro.com. Go find us on the web at www.zackspro.com. LinkedIn, we have a page, Zacks Professional Services, and on Twitter, we are at ZA Tools. Like I said, the real key here is to get the slides, particularly in this detail. 866-794-6065, and the email strategycall@zackspro.com.